Far, far away, behind the word mountains, far from the countries Vokalia and Consonantia, there live the blind texts. Separated they live in Bookmarksgrove right at the coast of the Semantics, a large language ocean. A small river named Duden flows by their place and supplies it with the necessary regalia. It is a paradise-matic country, in which roasted parts of sentences. You might be interested in one day, however, a small line of blind text by the name of Laura Mipsum decided to leave for the far world of grammar. The big Oxmox advised her not to do so. When she reached the first hills of the Italic Mountains, wonderful serenity has taken possession of my entire soul, like these sweet mornings of spring which I enjoy with my whole heart. I am alone, and feel the charm of existence in this spot, which was created for the bliss of souls like mine. I am so happy, my dear friend, so absorbed in the exquisite. For the happiest life, days should be rigorously planned, nights left open to chance. I should be incapable of drawing a single stroke at the present moment, and yet I feel that I never was a greater artist than now. When, while the lovely valley teems with vapor around me, and the meridian sun strikes the upper surface of the impenetrable foliage of my trees, and but a few stray gleams steal into the inner sanctuary, I throw myself down among the tall grass by the trickling stream, and, as I lie close to the earth, 1,000 unknown plants are noticed by me. This is an image caption enum ad minima veniam. Demo post title in uppercase. When I hear the buzz of the little world among the stalks, and grow familiar with the countless lorem ipsum dolor indescribable forms of the insects and flies, then I feel the presence of the Almighty, who formed us in his own image, and the breath. One morning, when Gregor Samsa woke from troubled dreams, he found himself transformed in his bed into a horrible vermin. He lay on his armor-like back. The list for doing things start international news. But in certain circumstances and owing to the claims of duty or the obligations of business, it will frequently occur that pleasures have to be repudiated and annoyances accepted. The wise man therefore always holds in these matters. Change your thoughts, you change your world. Norman Vincent. If several languages coalesce, the grammar of the resulting language is more simple and regular than that of the individual. The new common language will be more simple and regular than the existing European. Post title next to images. It showed a lady fitted out with a fur hat and fur boa who sat upright, raising a heavy fur muff that covered the whole of her lower arm towards the viewer. Gregor then turned to look out the window at the dull weather. Messinas nec odio et anti tinsidunt. Nullum quis anti, etiam sidamet orchi eget eros possibus tinsidunt. Bedding was hardly able to cover it and seemed ready to slide off any moment. His many legs, pitifully thin compared with the size of the rest of him, waved about helplessly as he looked. What's happened to me? He thought. It wasn't a dream. His room, a proper human room although a little too small, lay peacefully between its four familiar walls. A collection of textile samples lay spread out on the table. Samsa was a traveling salesman, and above it there hung a picture that he had recently cut out of an illustrated magazine and housed. Everyone realizes why a new common language would be desirable. One could refuse to pay expensive translators. You might be interested in the European languages or members of the same family. Their separate existence is a myth. For science, music, sport, etc., Europe uses the same vocabulary. The languages only differ in their grammar, their pronunciation and their most common words. Everyone realizes why a new common language. Do not mind anything that anyone tells you about anyone else. It wasn't a dream. His room, a proper human room although a little too small, lay peacefully between its four familiar walls. A collection of textile samples lay spread out on the table. Samsa was a traveling salesman, and above it there hung a picture that he had recently cut out of an illustrated magazine and housed in a nice gilded frame. It showed a lady fitted out with a fur hat and fur boa who sat upright, raising a heavy fur muff that covered the whole of her lower arm towards the viewer. Gregor then turned to look out the window at the dull weather. She packed her 7 Versalia, put her initial into the belt and made herself on the way. One morning, when Gregor Samsa woke from troubled dreams, he found himself transformed in his bed into a horrible vermin. Lay on his armor-like back, and if he lifted his head a little he could see his brown belly, slightly domed and divided by arches into stiff sections. Let's block ads.